Hello. In this video, we will continue to look at configuring a quiz in Moodle. So we've already gone ahead and created the quiz. We still have editing turned on. We've set up how the timing is going to be, how many attempts, the grade, and all that portion, but we still need to set up the questions. So we will want to go ahead and click on Test Quiz under Topic 4 is where we've put it, and then we'll want to click on Edit Quiz, which will allow us to then begin editing the questions in the quiz. One setting I want to point out before we get started is there's a maximum grade setting, so if you want to change that there, you can change that to reflect how many points the quiz is going to be worth. But the next step is to go ahead and create a new question. And there's a bunch of question types, but for our example, we'll just select multiple choice. And we'll hit next. And then we can start working our way through what category it is. You would have to define those beforehand. You can create categories for different quizzes or different types of questions or different areas of subject areas and that sort of thing. But for now, we're just going to put it in the default category. And then I'm just going to call it Q1 just as a name, and so that's how it would be saved. And then we'll just have question text, which will be what is your favorite color, just as an example question. We'll come down here. The next setting is default mark. So how many points is that question worth? We'll just put 1, and then general feedback. So do you want to have some kind of feedback when they answer that question? Whether you want to reinforce it with some new learning or some resources that they weren't aware of, or whatever you want to give them. If you want to give them some kind of feedback after the question is answered. Again, it's optional, but there is the ability to do that. And then there's some settings about one or multiple answers. Do you have one answer, multiple answers in terms of what is allowed in that question? Do you want to shuffle the choices is an option, and then how do you want to number the choices? How do you want it to show up? So and then we now just begin putting in our answers. So we'll go ahead and with red as choice number 1, and we'll actually make that the right answer in this case. We'll go ahead and hit 100%. And then if you want to have feedback, so if the person answers red, if you want to give them some kind of specific feedback, again, completely optional, but you can do that. And then we'll have choice 2 will be blue, which will mark as incorrect, so we'll just have none. Then we'll have choice 3 is green. We won't give any grade for that, so that'll be wrong as well. And then yellow will be our 4th choice, and you can add more choices than just 4, but for this example we'll just use 4. Then there's other feedback for correct responses, for partially correct responses, incorrect responses. Again, completely optional, but you can add as much or as little feedback as you want. A penalty for each incorrect try if you have an adaptive mode and are trying to allow them to have multiple tries to get the question right. Some hints if you want to have those set up. And then basically we're down to save changes. So we click on save changes, and then we now have what is your favorite color, which is our first question. And you can go ahead and select this question. You can move it to a different category. You can add it to another quiz. You can delete it. You can reorder, repaginate after you have a bunch of questions. You can do a bunch of stuff with that. The one thing I do want to look at is I want to click on the preview option, which is right here, and that allows us to preview the question as the student would see it. So I'll go ahead and maximize my window. And what is your favorite color? We can select the answer. For this example, we'll just hit fill in correct responses. So it shows us that it's red, and we can see that the answers have been shuffled because that's what I asked it to do. And then there's also some options here that allows you to change in the preview window. So we'll go ahead and close the preview window, and we'll come back to our course. So everything is under test quiz. You can see that we've added the question to that quiz. And if you scroll down here to settings, the last thing I want to point out in this video is that if you come under question bank and expand that, that's where you can add categories. So if you wanted to add categories, you can come down here and have different subjects or different chapters, or however you want to categorize it, so that you can build up your question bank and then select those questions to go into your various quizzes. This will now conclude our video about configuring your quizzes and questions.